The Story of Civilization, Part 2, The Life of Greece, being a history of Greek civilization from the beginnings, and of civilization in the Near East from the death of Alexander to the Roman conquest, with an introduction on the prehistoric culture of Crete, by Durant. Chapter 5, Athens, Part 2, Delphi. From Plutarch's city, Tabrana, one passes, at the continuous risk of his life, over a dozen mountains into Phocis, to reach, on the very slope of Parnassus, the sacred city of Delphi. 1,000 feet below is the Chrysaean plain, bright with the silver leaves of 10,000 olive trees. 500 feet farther down is an inlet of the Corinthian Gulf, ships move with the stately, silently slowness of distance over waters deceptively motionless. Beyond are other ranges, clothed for a moment in royal purple by the setting sun. At a turn in the road is the Castalian Spring, framed in a gorge of perpendicular cliffs. From the heights, legend said, adding another fable to his own, the citizens of Delphi hurled the wandering Aesop over them, says history. Philomelus, the Phocian, drove the defeated Locrians in the Second Sacred War. Twice the Greeks waged sacred wars over the perquisites of Apollo's temple, once in 595 to 585 BCE, when the southern Greeks put an end to the exacting of greedy tolls by the people of neighboring Kirha from pilgrims passing to Delphi through their port, and again in 356 to 346 BCE, when an allied Greek army under Philip of Macedon ousted the Phocians who had captured Delphi and appropriated the temple funds. The first war led to the neutralization of Delphi and the establishment of the Pythian Games. The second led to the Macedonian conquest of Greece. Above are the twin peaks of Parnassus, where the Muses dwelt when they tired of Helicon. Greeks who climbed 100 tortuous miles to stand on this mountainside, poised on a ledge between mist-shrouded heights and a sunlit sea, and surrounded on every side with beauty or terror, could hardly doubt that beneath these rocks lived some awful god. Time and again earthquake had rumbled here, frightening away the plundering Persians, and a century later the plundering Phocians, and a century later the plundering Gauls. It was the god protecting his shrine. As far back as Greek tradition could reach, worshippers had gathered here to find in the winds, among the gorges, are the gases escaping from the earth, the voice and will of deity. The great stone that nearly closed the cleft from which the gases came was, to the Greeks, the center of Greece, and therefore the omphalos, as they called it, the umbilicus, or very navel of the world. And I think there's still a lot of ancient religious sites to be found in Greece. And a lot of things have been figured out since this book has been written. Over that navel, they built their altars, in older days to Ga, Mother Earth, later to her bright conqueror, Apollo. Once a terrible serpent had guarded the gorge, holding it against men. Phlebas had slain him with an arrow, and as the Pythian Apollo had become the idol of the shrine, there, when an earlier temple was destroyed by fire in 548 BCE, which is the same period when Judaism as we know it appeared. I mean, it wasn't known by that name, but what you could call Judaism, well, go into that more elsewhere. The rich Alcmanids, aristocrats exiled from Athens, rebuilt it with funds subscribed by all, Greece, and augmented by their own. They gave it a facade of marble, surrounded it with a Doric peristyle, and supported it with Ionic colonnades within. Seldom had Greece seen so magnificent a shrine. A sacred way wound up the slope to the sanctuary, adorned at every step with statues, porticos, and treasuries. Miniature temples built in the sacred precincts at Olympia, Delphi, or Delos, by Greek cities as repositories for their funds, or as their individual tributes to the god. The individual thing that they thought such. 100 years before the Battle of Marathon, Corinth, and Sicyon raised such treasuries at Delphi. Later, Athens, Thebes, and Corinth rivaled them. Cnidus and Stephnos surpassed them. Amid them all is a reminder that Greek drama was a part of Greek religion. A theater was built at the face of Parnassus. Far above all the rest was a stadium where Greece practiced its favorite worship of health, courage, beauty, and youth. Imagination pictures the scene in the days of Apollo's festival. Fervent pilgrims crowding the road to the sacred city, filling noisily the inns and tents thrown up to shelter them, passing curiously and skeptically among the booths, where subtle traders displayed their wares, mounting in religious procession or hopeful pilgrimage to Apollo's temple, laying before it their offering or sacrifice, chanting their hymns or saying their prayers, sitting awed in the theater, and plodding up 1,000 trying steps to witness the Pythian games, or gaze in wonderment at mountains and sea. Life once passed this way in all its eagerness.